Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata from City Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. I want you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fair with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done.
We're all fed up, aren't we? All right, it's 10 minutes after 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. My name is Mark Benskop. We're going to rock and roll until 10 o'clock. It's Friday, and I'm telling you guys, it's been a hectic week. You all know that. It has been a hectic week. And you know what, I'm not complaining, but I'm telling you guys, 1 hour and I'm out of here. You guys know where I'm heading. You know where I'm heading, right? I deserve that. Just give me a cold one. I deserve that. It's been a rough week for a lot of people. You know, I don't use those sort of terms. I don't like to say rough. I don't entertain those sort of talks. But you know, it's not been a good week for all Guyanese, especially when people are seeking justice. And in the process of seeking justice, instead of those who are supposed to ensure that people get justice, they're covering up. They're doing all manner of things. They're filling the prisons now with individuals with, as Clem David, you remember Clem David, right? He used to say, "Pia, pia." You know, I grew up on the quarantine, so honestly, I can't recall that word, "pia, pia." It seems as though it's people from Belladrum, Oak Tongue, and Weldad, and those areas of Pia, Pia. How many of you, be honest, forget about them people from Georgetown, they speak a different language. Their language is like Bana, Wagainan, right? But the people from the countryside, the countryside, like Plaisance and those places, their country. But pia, 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 pia. How many of you guys know pia, 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 pia? Joiling cutting, if I meet you at the waterfalls, you've got to pay. But what is pia, 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 pia? Right? Good night to all of you. It's been a drained week indeed. I agree with you for the first time in probably 1 month. I'm agreeing with Aaliyah Walren, Linda, and all of you guys. Claudine Tom, lots of you saying pia, pia. But anyways, that's the kind of politics in Guyana. Pia, pia politics. I should be joined by a couple of folks. We're talking strictly about policing and what the police, what they have been doing to stymie the process to ensure that people get justice. That is all people want, you know. People want justice. They want justice. That's all they want. And guess what? The government of Guyana is not ensuring that people get justice. And so when folks go out and they put a little tire across the road, the corrupt PPP regime, they target those individuals and they call them all sorts of things. They're terrorists, they're this, they're that, and then they jail them, no bail, no nothing. Look, it is not about the charge. It's about sending that message to you, members of the public, and they're intimidating people. That's all they are doing, intimidating people. And when you have a government that does that, must understand what they mean by pia, pia, right? Okay, Lachman Aziz, pia, pia. Now, you'll be joined by a couple of folks. Some of them probably chickened out, you know, the usual thing. People want justice, but some of them are afraid to speak out. But we have Twinkle Aria Paul. You know, Twinkle Aria Paul has been here before. And so another young lady from across the river in Georgetown, as they would say, her son died and was murdered and still awaiting justice. It happens all the time in Guyana. And it appears that the police, they're not concerned about justice. All they're concerned is to make it look as though they're going to round up a couple of youth men or whatever it is, and they're going to put the guns on them and treat them in such manner, you know, and video it and shut your mouth and cutlass and all manner of human rights violations. That's what the police, that is what they're doing, and they think that it is police work. You ask them to go into certain communities and round up people like that. You think they're going to do that? No, they're not going to do it. They have a saying in Guyana, monkey knows which limb for jump on, right? Many of you guys know that. Whether you're from Quarantine, Georgetown, wherever, monkey knows which limb for jump on. All right, the other thing, there's a mandir out in Tushan area, maybe somewhere that area, that was broken into, vandalized. And because of that, every single thing, now the point I'm making is wrong for any place of worship to be vandalized. So let's begin in the first place. It is wrong. But this is nothing unusual. This is nothing new. And this is what I'm saying about it. This is nothing new. People break into church. They break into, when they break into mandirs. And since a little boy, this thing has been going on. On the Quarantine year, church at Anlis got broken into. The mandir got broken into. I'm not sure if they go into mosque. Probably do, but I haven't heard much of that because probably not to knock our Muslim brothers and sisters. I don't know if anything is left in there. But people still break into places of worship. They do that. And so someone broke into the mandir up in Tushan or somewhere around that area. And, they took away the donation basket or whatever. They took away some stuff. and they threw this the goddess on the floor, right? Again, this ought to be condoned. Ought not to be condoned. Sorry about that. It ought not to be. People should be free to practice their religion. Now, the problem that I have, though, is that when the ERC is going to take it now upon their own to say that they are going to link this particular vandalism to the folks who are fighting for justice for Adriana Young. Now, we don't know. There is no investigations. There's nothing that has been done to conclude that this crime is linked to the people who are fighting for justice for Adriana, sorry. And I have a problem when those who are using their offices for political purposes, and the ERC is at it again without any investigation. They have already concluded that it is linked. That is according to the ERC, according to the PPP and the PPP folks. So anything that happens now, it is going to be linked, according to these PACUs, it is going to be linked to these folks calling, and rightly so, calling for justice. Every single thing. And not so long ago, the Mandir was broken into. The ERC never issued a report. Never did. Every single month, every year, we hear these things happen. But suddenly, it is linked to the Adriana Young murder. Everything is linked to them. If a man can't get his wife pregnant, it is linked to this fight for justice. If a man stump his big toe, it is linked to every single thing. And this is bad. I just want you guys to read between the lines what the PPP and their acolytes, what they are up to. Now, again, let's make this clear that no one should be condoning these acts. It is wrong. Whether it's a Hindu temple, whether it's a Muslim mosque, whether it's a church, a Christian church, it doesn't matter. It ought to be condemned. But when it is being used for political mileage, that is when I have a problem with it. So everything that happens now, the PPP is going to use it for political mileage. Now, what if they haven't done an investigation, but what if the perpetrator or perpetrators, what if they happen to be Hindus? Then what? Then what? Oh, Father. Guyana, that's why I say wickedness in high places. Wickedness in high places. A couple of the other guests, I'm not seeing them. They're probably chicken out, the usual thing, chicken out. But according to information that I just read, apparently there will be another independent pathologist. Another. Now the question is, what happened to the first one? There were three. What happened to them? What's going on? Why wasn't this done in the first place? Lots of questions, right? Why? Why wasn't? Why wasn't? Why now? Why wasn't? And who brought in? We were hearing all sorts of stuff as to who brought the doctor, the pathologist from Delaware. People taking credit for some things they shouldn't be taking credit to. But it's the usual thing, right? We know of some of the usual suspects. But the question is, who recommended the pathologist from Delaware? Who paid for the pathologist to go to Guyana, the pathologist hotel accommodation? And if at all the pathologist got paid, who did that? Was it done in collaboration with the family of the deceased little girl? Was it done that way, or was it just a government something to make it appear they have an East Indian guy in Barbados, originally from India, but he's in Barbados, a pathologist. Then they have a white guy, a Caucasian guy who works, I believe, at Mount Sinai or somewhere in New York. And then they brought an African-American guy. Read between the lines. Again, I'm asking, who paid for them? if at all they got paid, who paid for them? Is it taxpayers through the government? If so, then they cannot be, they just cannot be independent. And now we're hearing someone else is coming in now. What they should have done in the first place, they're now doing. This other pathologist probably is the way that the family members should have gone in the first place. They should not have accepted three pathologists recommended by the government. If the government wanted to do theirs, the family members and those who advising them should have brought in their own pathologists. Now it's days after. I don't know what's everything. I agree with you, Paul Court. Every single thing is just confusing. That is why you get all of the reporters. Everybody's a reporter right now on Facebook. Everybody is a detective. Everybody is at Angela Lansbury. Everybody is all these detectives. Let's get to our guest tonight, Twinkle, Aria, Paul, as we prepare to ask some questions. The other guests, like they're chicken out. They know who they are. They're watching. One sent me a voice note. I'm not going to play any voice note. Maybe I should just play the voice note, let everybody hear. But I wouldn't do that. Twinkle, how are you doing? Good night and welcome again to Straight Up.
Good night, Mark. Good night to all your viewers. Thank you for having me. How I'm
Yes.
doing? I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm fed up. I'm disgusted. I ain't got enough words to express my emotions of how I'm doing, especially in this time when we continue to see a repetition of atrocity against the Guyanese people by the hands of the police or misstep of the police. And yeah, that's how I'm doing. And if I if I have to let my emotions lead me, I might lead beyond burning tires or running in a store. But I'm glad we can have conversations and I'm able to contribute um, towards everything that's happening right now and able to challenge instead of doing something would consider wrong with my feelings. I'm channel, channeling it in the right way in conversations, in advocacy and different things.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And for those of you who are now joining 24 minutes after, you did say that you're pissed off. Obviously, lots of people are pissed off. Lots of people have been pissed off for a while now, but people are getting more pissed off these days because of the blatant disrespect, the rule of law, disrespect of the rule of law by those who are in authority, whether it's the police force or the government or so forth. What is your take on what you have been watching, observing as it pertains to the death, the murder of this 11-year-old girl, Adriana Young?
I think number one, it's a very terrible situation. Words can't describe what happened to this little girl. I send my condolences to her family, my sympathy, my empathy, and everything. And this is a hard time. What I also think w- with this particular situation, two things happening here at once. We got the tragic death of a young woman, and then we have the police force who's always on the wrong side of justice when it comes to the citizen, but the right side of injustice. Um, and what I think when you look at this particular situation and you go back to every other ones before, that there's a coordinated attempt to deflect, to sweep this under the rug, to put you in a different direction, to use certain elements of what's going on to take away from the real responsibility. And when I talk about responsibility, I don't see responsibility as only a one person thing. I think different levels and different people got different levels of responsibility, different levels of power. Um, when it comes to responsibility, I think that the person who has the most responsibility in this period is the government and the people in charge at this time. Um, and then we have civil society. We got our part to play. We got the politicians got the part to play. I think in this moment, every Guyanese got the part to play, and we're playing it in our different ways. but I think we need to see more actions from the government. I think in a situation like this, with everything that has happened around policing, we should have already been removing the entire leadership of the police force. The opposition and the government should be meeting to set up interim leader. Parliament should activate the powers to investigate the whole discourse of policing and Guyanese citizens, include civil society, attorneys, and everybody. Look at the policy, look at what they're doing to legislate. And I also support the call for an international probe into the senseless and the terrible act that was committed against this child, or the circumstances around this child's death.
You have been observing and in some instances fighting for justice, and especially and let me just say, Tony Hack, pay attention, because it looks like we're going to go up the road tonight, Tony Hack, and and that moderation bingo individual. Y'all know who he is, right? Francine Cruz. So pay attention, guys. This is important, and the message is important. But what, based on what you have experienced and what you've been observing as it pertains to policing in Guyana, do you think that the folks who are fighting for justice for little Adriana Young, do you think they will get justice?
Well, yes, they will get justice because the power of the people is greater than the people in power. And one thing I know with little Adriana's death is that the entire Guyana in different parts is shocked and they feel it. And one of the reasons I believe that they feel it is because every day, apart from the death of someone, every day Guyanese people seek justice through the police. When you got a problem, we're conditioned to believe that the police could help you solve it. And when you turn up to seek that justice, you end up with a whole trailer load of injustice. Your justice is defined by your ability to pay, by your by your political affiliation, by who you know, depends on your gender. If you're in poor, you got no type of justice. And so I believe that justice is possible. And the way we get justice, we got to continue calling for it. We got to continue peacefully protesting in the streets. We got to continue getting out there. I Once we, the people, hold those in power accountable, justice is possible. And there's many ways we could find that. But there's an election around the corner. There's the thing we could do with our money, where we spend it. And then there's the power of people to organize and take it to the streets with placard and drums and dance and prayers and chants. And justice is going to come. So I do believe that we can get justice.
Absolutely. Please, you're an optimist. Let's get to the phone. Our other guest has a little slight technical problems. Roxanne Best is with us. Roxanne, your son was murdered and no justice at all because of some, according to you, level of corruption in the Guyana police force. Roxanne, good night and welcome to Straight Up.
Good night, Mark. Good night to all the listeners.
Yeah, I know. Can you give us a quick rundown on your son's murder, and the police reluctance to investigate the matter to give you guys justice?
Mark, and to all those who are listening, to me, it's still on Mr. Caesar's desk. That's the last time, and the last is going to be 4 years. I'm still awaiting justice for my son, who was brutally murdered. And when I saw Mr. Williams, Sergeant Williams, with Ariana Matters, I know he take pay. When my son was murdered, they said he's in charge of the case. Okay, so we end up going to the station, and then when I said I'm gonna get a lawyer, tell me, you don't have to get a lawyer. They're gonna they have circumstantial evidence. So because of that, I mustn't take any lawyer. Mark, Guyana police force, when I said they're corrupt from Dickens right down. I went to Hickens, I went to Caesar, I went to Whitaker, I went to Rose. Mark, I walked the walk to get into police force just to get justice. Because my son was innocent. And the same time Infernali was swearing in 2020, the 2nd of August, the same time my son was brutally murdered. I also believe my son was sacrificed too. Because whatsoever going on in Guyana is sacrificial. Look all those accidents every single day. People dying on the road is blood. The PPP is about blood. It's not about government. It's about people killing, being murdered, and these people just sit down and just allowing it. When Mr. Ali could go on the on the air and say that out, like, man, I don't even want to talk because I'm piling up. Because why I didn't really I start listening to him, but then I couldn't listen to him because I know my temperament. Because I might say something wrong and they might put wanted bulletin for me too.
So why do you
Man,
why do you believe that your son was sacrificed? I'm just curious.
my son was stabbed 20 something times in the belly. His neck was, his throat was slit, his head was bashed in. Yeah. His 2 hands was cut XX. Whatsoever demon went on the guy who kill him. And that's why I keep on saying, and these people, they just played as even to the magistrate. When 6 months after the guy walked free, Mark, 6 months after. And then the mother gonna turn around. You know what I'm saying? We are parents first. We are mothers first. And if you could allow your son to murder somebody else's child and feel nice about it, come on. They can't sleep at night. I know my son is resting, but they gonna live with it for the balance of their life. And for all those who committing like these sacrificial work, the day is numbered because they got answer to God. And for Ariana's mother, my condolence to you, and I feel your pain. I cry with you every single day, Mark. I can't sleep because I see myself, and it's my country woman. We all from Puerto Rico. You hear? We all from in Moro Road, in Puerto Rico Road, Mark, and I feel it. I can't sleep because I don't want her to give up. Don't take money from these people.
I know those who feel it knows, and a lot of people, their wounds are opening again, reopening all the wounds. People who have been wrong, people who have not gotten justice.
Mark,
Um,
up to now, I'm still waiting on a call from Mr. Higgins where I was there. Critics was there in his office, and these people, what I look at it, these people have kids. These people have kids. Supposed to was their kids. You think they're gonna let it walk free? Come on, man. These people operate like we ain't gonna. These people operate like if there's no hello.
yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yeah, these people operating like if like human life don't have no value.
Absolutely.
When Mr. Halley could instead of like sympathize with the family, you could see it's just a flam. It's just a flam with all of them. But you know what? We all got answer to God, and the days everybody gotta don't by sin. Everybody got be accountable for what they do.
Well said. Let's get back to Twinkle. Twinkle, what are some of your experiences dealing with the police and injustices in Guyana?
So let me just give a little background. The experience is overwhelmingly negative, and just a very little positive. And to talk about some of the background, for the last 15 years, I've been directly and indirectly experiencing problems with the police force. And some of the things that I really that really struck me in the work that I do is when you go to the police to make a report and you end up getting beat up by the police. Certain people go to the station and make a report that judge you based on how you look, based on where you come from, whole range of your race, everything, right? That was the experience. Let me see. From a childhood days, I was a child very long time ago, and my aunt was getting beat by a man. And I got away from the house and went to Rhineville police station. Complained to the police, and the police chased me out of the station, tell me as a child. Although I was trying to get them to help my aunt who was being domestically abused by her husband. Push that aside. There's other instances where police would lock up the people that I work with, and then they would condition that lockup and release on a statement like, give me a statement, and then you give a statement, and then they take that very statement and charge you back. There are other instances where, just like this woman is saying, the police operates like they're the court, they're the magistrate, they everything happens in one place. So they could determine whether your case is strong or not, or whether you deserve, you know. So let me see. You have situations where somebody would be locked up by the police and being charged to go to court, and then the police would come and tell you to go and plead guilty, because if you don't plead guilty, you can pay this money or you can do all of this and thing. But the back end of that is that when you plead guilty, that investigating officer get that case up on the scorecard or whatever, so they could look for the rewards at the end of the year in the police rewards scheme. Um, what else? I've had the police complaint system for the last 2 years. Colleague, a friend of mine, a friend, somebody that I work with also in the community, was beaten by the police in the presence of an officer in brown clothes, most dislocated knees. Because we believe in the system, trust the system as so it goes, we complain to the police complaints authority. We get lawyers involved. The lawyers, because we've done this so many times over and over and get no reason. The lawyers wanted to go straight to court, but the social worker that I work with take it to the police complaints authority, and so we could follow that process. Until now, we don't have no response to that process. I've made several complaints to the police about police misconduct. And when you go back for the complaint get thief out of the cupboard, the place breaking, and these type of things. That's that experience. But then we got this in the context of more than context of more broad police violence and violence towards Guyanese citizens, and what we're seeing every time the police harm Guyanese people, we repeat this same thing over and over. The police harm people, people speak out, and then either they use their proxies or whoever to incite someone to terror, not even terror, well, I'm not using their words, but to incite some violent act, and then there might be some other elements in part of the response doing some other things too, and doing violent act, right? And the experience is that the police like this. They like when it reached to that stage, because the focus now gonna move from what is really the issue, as is the issue here, is that this little child died under mysterious circumstances, and the police response was one of the horriblest of times. They like when these other elements show up, so they could use it as a justification to deny the reality of the way they conduct themselves. And we see this with Quindon Bacchus. We see this with the Henry Byes brother murder. Until now, you don't know who it is. We see this recently with the shootings in Linden, and now we're witnessing it here again. So while I got my own personal experience, as a whole and the countrywide, we have seen a repeated inability by those in power, by the police, the entire setup to do the right thing and bring real justice to the Guyanese people.
Roxanne, thank you. Well said. As we get back to Roxanne, and
Yeah.
the message is what's important here, guys. I see a couple of troublemakers in the group there. Conrad August, Francine Cruz, Tony Hack. I see a couple of troublemakers, but if we can stay and remain focused, you see, that's where we sometimes lose this struggle.
Mark,
Roxanne, can you give a quick background on your son's death, please? I saw some folks asking Tony Hack and others when Tony Hack is paying attention, real attention. Yeah. Give a little background about your son and the death of your son, please. Go ahead.
my son was home the Sunday morning. It was a Sunday morning.
And this was what year again, and where exactly?
2020, the 2nd of August, 2020, at minutes to 10. somebody come and call me
And where
and
again?
said
Where in Guyana?
Crane housing scheme
Thank you. Go
on
ahead.
the west coast of Demerara.
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
they come and called me and said, come see what somebody do to your son. Mark, my son, he had not one enemy until that morning. And what hurt me more, that the mother thought she was the first person that saw my son lying there, lifeless. And she run a whole ahead and go back home, bathe, buy skin, and come and stand up right among us that Sunday morning when we wanted to know who's the person that murdered my son. And when I got to find out is who I called Williams, and this was like 2 o'clock the Monday morning. You hear? And when I called Williams, he said he gonna come the next morning. When he do come, it's like about 7 o'clock, and he come pick up the bag. The boy he went home. The boy ended up going to the station himself because the father he done highway in South. Mark, the police system is so corrupt. I can't, like express myself more when I say they're corrupt. They are corrupt. And if only I could get justice. That boy is walking the road waiting to harm somebody else's child on Crane Road, like if he mad. But I know there's a God, and God don't sleep. And my knees would never get weary. Mr. Hickens, I went to your office. I plead with you. I went to Mr. Rose at Lagrange. I went to Mr. Times at Lenora. Mr. Whitaker, the last person I went is Mr. Whitaker. He tell me he can't do nothing. The magistrate, the file is with Caesar. I went to Caesar because all of us from Puerto Rico. And I didn't looking for that, like, sympathy. I want justice for my child. Because my child was innocent, Mark. But God don't sleep.
And what's the latest the police told you about your son?
Mark, the latest is on Caesar's desk. When it went to I even went to the DPP, Mark. I went to every single body, every area that I could have go to, I went. And I went alone.
Okay, for those of you, this is Roxanne Bess, mother of Daryl James, and Daryl James is the young man who was murdered in 2020 on the very day that the PPP was installed into office. Why do
Mark,
you go ahead? Yeah.
Mark, it's just because I am a strong woman. Look, for instance, 3 weeks after the Henry Boys was murdered, both of the parents died because of the Guyana police force not giving these people justice. Both of the parents died. Both of the Henry Boys' mother died. Young people still have a whole life ahead of them. But stress is a thing that, not everybody could handle it.
So true. Let me ask you
But
this.
I'm just gonna say one thing, Ariana's mother, just keep the faith and don't give up. We're behind you. We are behind you. Have the whole world behind you. Forget about politics. Forget about infernally and what I have to say. You do what you have to do as a mother because only you know what you're feeling and is your child, and you go for it. And we're behind you. Ariana gonna make all of the mothers get justice in Guyana. Keep fighting.
You did mention, Roxanne, that you are of the belief that your son died as a result of some sort of sacrifice.
Mark,
go ahead.
Mark, I'm not lying. The night when my son was murdered, myself, my nephew, and my brother was standing, and a red snake run over, coming towards us. So the alligator, where you see when the alligator, I say, you know what? These things have symbols. And that time we didn't know who the murdered my son. It was about 11 o'clock this Sunday night. So this thing have a lot of people mightn't believe, but there's a lot of spiritual thing going on in Guyana. Look at the road accident. It's not natural. It's not normal. Why a little country like Guyana, so many accidents on the road? These people want blood and more blood. That's how they are keeping the ritual and the wealth. But a fool and his money shall soon be parted. And all the money they gather can't be happy.
Describe and hope you're comfortable with this. I know you're strong, but describe for those who are now joining us the manner in which your son was murdered, and when you saw your son, and these things. Describe that scene for us, please.
My son was stabbed 20 something times in his abdomen. His throat was slit. His head was bashed in. His two hands were cut up. It wasn't something easy my son went through. And up to day like today, I'm still awaiting justice from the Guyana police force.
Do you think that the person that they arrested was the right person? Any
Yes.
evidence?
Mark is the right person. Is the right person. Sean Patterson murdered my son. His father was an ex-magistrate in Guyana, Mr. Patterson. And the judicial system corrupt as the police force. Because just a phone call. Because when the magistrate freed her by the morning, they had planned a party. They were there, had known the child was coming out, the mother and everybody. And I said, how can he murder my son and come about? I didn't believe it. So when Crystal Lambert said, Sean, you're free to go, I turned and I watched the shit. I don't know if she have kids, but unless you bear that birth pain, you would understand how a mother would feel.
You know, Miss Bess, as we prepare to get back to Twinkle for Twinkle's closing remarks, I noticed a comment from Conrad August asking, why did he do it? Did your son have beef? As in any problem?
No, my son, they had no problem with him. My son had a phone. And Mark is a policeman from Good Fortune bought that phone. Mark, I did my own investigation. Kevin sold the phone. Kevin didn't know that the phone was Darrell own, and he sell it to the police guy from Good Fortune. The Douglas guy that Williams the hold on was the wrong one, and the bike tell them. But Williams wasn't listening. Even to the morning when everybody there, the person one of the guys say hold on on the bike, Williams pay no mind because he take money. The first day he took 100,000 from the mother. The mother said that in the station yard that Williams take money from she, and she would face and she would that because she thought her son would go to jail. I even enlightened the prosecutor, and he said he can't do nothing. He hear it. All of them was right there to hear it.
All right, Roxanne.
But that's how Guyana goes.
Roxanne Bess talking about her story, the fact that she hasn't gotten justice. Someone was charged with the murder, serious allegations. The person was since freed by the court. Ms. Bess is saying that there's some sort of sacrifice there for her son. We're hearing now sacrifice also with Adriana Young. People want justice. They want justice. Twinkle, as you listen to the story there of this grieving mother, and then there's a Paula Niles who says, hey, Mark, her nephew got murdered in St. Philip Churchyard. The police never come up to even investigate. And I assume that what she's saying here is that it's because he was gay. What's your take on both what the mother is saying here about her son being murdered and what this Paula Niles is saying about her nephew? And no justice. Your microphone, please.
Two things. I share your cries for justice, moms, and everything. Well, her name is Michelle,
Yeah, Roxanne.
Miss
Roxanne
Rock.
Ben.
Sorry, Miss Roxanne. Everything that you saying just leads back to the very experience that you have in police. You're calling on people, no proper investigation, no proper answer. They know this, they determine the case before it even ends, you know. And what I could say is that, like you said, you stay strong to your faith. Don't stop praying, don't stop fighting. And this is the moment where many Guyanese like yourself feel the injustices that the police commit against the citizens of the state. And this is the moment where division and thing, like you said too, will not only put we apart and take away from this. With all these stories and history and injustice we got about Putin, now is the time we gotta say no more. We gotta continue speaking out and put a stop into it and hold those in power feet to the fire and hold them accountable. And so never stop speaking about your son. I always tell your story and I always call those in power to do better. Um, in Miss Paula Niles, I know of this case. I read from this case, and when you talk about my experience, this is one of the cases in my experience with Wesley Holder, aka Tiffany Orozco. Till now, the murderers cannot be found. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody knows anything. This individual was found with their hands cut, their foot cut, the back, the throat slit, and nobody knows anything. And again, the police don't know either. But I also want to make a point here because it's not that the police don't know. When the police want to know or when they want to make a show of people, they do it. You understand? So let me come back to it. They didn't know to find the circumstances, the persons involved, or anything around Adriana's death. But within 24 hours, they could have found the people who they claim burn and loot and ruin. Here was another reality. The people that born those wrongfully born those young kids and those and that teacher going home. Till now, till now, where are them? Where are those people? Where are they? So when the police want to act or when they want to show force or when they want to possess themselves in the power, they know to do it. They know to do what they got to do. You understand? For all the things that happened the other night, they could have had police and responses in every area. They didn't have the same for Adriana's death. And that's why I refuse to ever call the people who got arrested and charged. And I just hope that attorneys out there, please go and represent those people pro bono. I call for y'all to represent. At the end of the day, regardless, everybody's entitled to representation and to fight the case in court. You're innocent until proven guilty. Let the government prove the case. And coming back to my point, what I'm saying, one of the reason why I refuse to call them any terrorists is because I got a book in front of me here. This is my sociology book. My background is in I got a socio-legal studies. Anyway, but here what this book said. It said violators are symptoms of social problems and not the disease itself. Most deviants are victims and should not be blamed entirely by society for their deviance. Rather, the system they live in should be blamed. And for those reasons, I will not. The system they live in, non-violators are symptoms of social problems. Whatever happened the other day, I do not condone violence. I do not condone burning or looting. But we didn't reach there, or we didn't reach to that place just like that. It's a man used a metaphor of a boiling pot. It was a pot that keeps boiling and boiling, and every time the police keeps put something and it boils over, and we get to this place. So I refuse to call them terrorists. I refuse to call them these names that you want to do that. I have another quote, Mark, if you allow me. It says, we must guard ourselves against the tendency to accept the definitions of social problems provided by those in power because the powerful, the agencies, business, and the media provide statistical data such as crime rates. They may define social reality in a way that manipulates public opinion thereby controlling behaviors that threatens the status quo. And this is exactly what we see here. It's easy for the government to call people domestic terrorists when they protest against the injustices that Guyanese continue to face by the police over and over and over. And why it's easy? Because there's a convenient justification or the convenient alleyway to deflect and remove and change public perception about what's going on right now. What's happening right now is something that we've been going through over and over and over. Every day and every time Guyanese call on the police for justice, we end up with injustice. And when the police want to act, they act. When they're motivated or they're given orders by those in powers to act, they act. When they want to make an example out of Guyanese, they do it. But what they're supposed to do, they ain't doing.
Well said there. As we prepare to close off, I've noticed Miss Paula Nile said that the police ignored because her nephew happened to have been gay. I noticed Francine Cruz, one of the mischievous comment persons in the comment section there, is saying what being gay has to do with a crime. Crime is a crime. Twinkle, you want to take that on? Your microphone, please.
Mark, I'm not addressing gay issues right now. This is the issue of policing is a Guyanese experience. Guyanese across the country, in the Amerindian community, the hinterland communities, in the city, in urban, suburban, all over, experience injustice and atrocities. And it's worse depending on your race, depending on your political affiliation, depending on your gender, depending on your ability to pay or your socioeconomic status. And so I'm not addressing what is at issue right now is the police conduct and the direction we're heading in. It looks like we can push this one away again, and then we can gotta prepare for another one to come couple more in again from now. And we're going to repeat this entire lesson over and over and over. But enough is enough. And this is the time and moment I believe guys gotta come together and continue protesting. Get out there. And here's another thing I want to, for those attorneys and people who in this moment, one of the things I noticed missing on social media is information and advising the citizen how to protest peacefully and how to do it within the boundaries and the rights. So if there's attorneys and people in the audience that listen to me, I'm not a liar. I know a few things, but I know everything. Please do some videos, make some shortcuts, show people, tell people, inform the nation how to practice in peaceful protest, how to keep away from those elements that come to instigate different things that take away from the message. So yes, Mark.
Thank you so much, Miss Bess, Roxanne Bess.
Yes, Mark.
Are you at all optimistic that you'll get justice? The police kick you around, your family around, not giving you any justice, no satisfaction, nothing. Are you optimistic that at some point in time you will get justice? You believe?
I will get justice, Mark. I will have justice for my son. I will get justice. One of these days, I will get justice.
And we continue to fight for justice for those who are crying out
for all the mothers, for all the mothers.
Absolutely. Twinkle, are you optimistic as we close off tonight's program that there will be change and people will get justice?
Sorry, Mark. I'm optimistic in the power of the people, but I'm not optimistic in the powers there be right now within the institution that exists. They have failed to deliver justice in many times and many different scenarios. And if we look back from a human rights perspective, if we go back from 5 years ago, there wasn't justice. And we extend that to 5 years beyond, 10 years, and you go right down, very, very small amounts of justice, little justice have not, but I'm optimistic in the power of the Guyanese people to organize and demonstrate to the power there be, regardless of which government, that your rights should not be violated by the arms of the state. And the state is there to uphold your rights. And when they don't do it, you demonstrate it to them. Because again, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. So
Well
that's
said. Tony Hack and others seem to be just amazed. They say Tony Hack is another one of the mischievous person in our comment section, and I say mischievous rank that was the same as Francine Cruz. But Tony Hack is saying they want you back. He wants you back. Sometime Twinkle will be back. Don't. We know you're getting all worked up, Tony Hack. Twinkle will be back for you, Tony and others. But for now, let me just thank them both, Twinkle and Roxanne. Thank you both so much for your contributions tonight. We will continue to fight for justice. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Mark.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Twinkle.
everybody.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Hi, guys. So we'll take a quick break and be right back because I have my closing remarks for you guys, Tony and Francine and the crew. Yeah, I'll stay right here. We'll be right back.
We checked the school this morning. What? We checked the school this morning. This young lady was not in the school. This girl was not in the school. This girl was not in the school. She was not in here. We checked in the school. The girl was not in there this morning when we come here. We went in this place. This girl was not in here. The girl was not in there, boy. What the fuck? Them put this girl in the school, boy. The fucking girl that went in there. We went in there just now, boy. What the?
These people, they're fighting for justice, regardless of their ethnicity. They're fighting for justice. And what the corrupt PPP is doing, they're locking up innocent people. Now, if somebody scrape a road, if somebody burn a tire, if somebody ran into a Chinese store and stole something or beat people up, then charge them. Charge them with the rightful charge. Those are not acts of terrorism. Charge them, yeah, but give them the right charge. Don't intimidate people by acts of terrorism and dumping one set of people in jail without bail and putting another set on bail. You know what I mean by that, right? You know what I mean, right? Audrey Brown, you know what I mean by that, right? You guys know what I mean by that. But look, this is what the corrupt PPP regime is doing. They're trying to focus or have people focus in other areas to divert attention. That is what they are about, to divert attention. And people are not going to fall for that trick. I noticed there's a trench crappo is saying stop blaming the PPP. Who else do you want us to blame? Do you want us to blame the party in Trinidad and Tobago, the party in Barbados? Who do you want us to blame? We've got to blame the corrupt PPP regime. Those are the people who we have to blame. Check this out. Have you ever seen this lady? She's the Minister of Social Services, Vindi Prasad. Has she ever gone anywhere? Have you guys ever seen her trying to fight for justice for anybody? No. But suddenly she turned up at the spot. Why? All I'm asking, I'm not saying she doesn't have a right as a quote-unquote minister. But all I'm asking is why now? Why all of them rushed there? Was it really to show sympathy to the family? Did they get a call from the businessman? I'm just asking a question here. Did Vindi Prasad receive a call from the owner or owners of the hotel where this little girl was murdered? Did she get a phone call? The same question for this guy who has sued the former mayor of Georgetown, Ubraj Narain. This guy, Indar, sued Ubraj Narain for what only God knows. But I'm asking this simple question here. Nothing for you to get upset about, Indar. Absolutely nothing. But then again, this Indar, right? Nothing for you to get upset about. And so the question is, the simple question, are you connected, whether friends or whatever? I'm not concerned about business it's none of my business. But I'm simply asking, are you friends with the owner of the hotel? And did you attend a function at the hotel? Mind you, again, the question is, did you attend a function at the hotel in 2020, December of 2020? That is all I'm asking. Maybe Obraj Narayan, I don't know what Obraj asked or what he said, but I'm not saying anything. I'm not speculating anything. I'm just asking a simple question. Are you friends with the owner of the hotel? It's not a crime, mind you, but you don't have to rush to sue somebody because they ask a question. It appears, in my opinion, a lot of people are attempting to cover up the crime of this hotel. Lots of people. Somebody's saying that that's not Indar. Someone is saying that that's not Indar. So our operator has got to give us Indar. If that is not Indar, and maybe you're correct, but we have to get Indar. If someone is saying this is not Indar, right? This poor chap probably sitting there and saying he's not Indar. Bencha probably ignored that he is not Indar. So will our operator just post a picture of Indar, since somebody's saying that this is not Indar? All right, but this is the First Lady of Guyana. The First Lady of Guyana also attended the hotel. There was a whatever it is, and there's Vikram Bharat. Okay, so they're saying that is Vikram Bharat. Vikram Bharat. And then there's Indar. So we got to get Indar. You guys got to see Indar. Indar. Okay, so Indar is the one. Indar is the one. And that is not Indar, right? That certainly and we want to just say that that guy is not Indar, but he's another minister though, but he is not Indar. All right, so we want to just say to that guy he can sleep comfortably that we posted the wrong picture, and we would just like to withdraw that photograph immediately, and so that guy can go to bed knowing that he is not Indar. So we would say sorry for that, right? Sorry for that he is not Indar, but we want Indar. We should know Indar by now, because remember, Indar was the one that got pulled over for questioning, and he alleged questioning, and he said that it wasn't questioning, and all right, he said it wasn't questioning. But let's get to Indar now. Okay, so Indar. There goes Indar. Indar sued the former mayor of Georgetown. Sued the former mayor of Georgetown. You guys see Indar? The other guy is not Indar, all right? So if he's watching, let's take a Banks beer, right? So this is what is happening. This is Indar now. So we apologize for the mix-up of the photograph, not of the story, of the photograph, mind you. So this is Deodat Indar. This is the one who sued the Pandit. Sued the Pandit. Well, I'm asking this question to Indar. I almost say Ignar. Sorry, guys. Indar, this question to you. Did you attend a function at the hotel in 2020 December? That's all I'm asking. And if you want to throw in, have you ever gone to that hotel at any other time? At any other time. Thank you, Annette Cummings. The previous photograph was that of Vikram Bharat. And Vikram Bharat has not been mentioned in this story, and I withdraw that photograph and so forth. But this is Indar. Indar sued the former mayor because the former mayor made some sort of insinuation. Well, I'm not insinuating here. I'm just asking a simple question. I'm not linking him to anything at all. I'm just asking whether he attended a function there in 2020 December and whether he has gone to the hotel anytime prior to 2020, the December that he was there. That is all I'm asking. And the next question that I'm asking, I'm not asking whether he has any business relationship with the hotel or not. I don't know. And I have not heard that, and I have no evidence of such. However, I'm asking him whether he and the hotel owner or owners are friends, and whether during the course of the little girl being missing, whether he was in touch with anybody from the hotel or anyone from the hotel was in touch with him. That's all I'm asking, nothing else. And so those are simple questions, basic, and they should answer it. The same for the First Lady. Is she friends with folks at the hotel? Have they gone to the hotel prior to her official visit to the hotel in December of 2020 when they were doing some toy drives and, take a look. We'll deal with this later, but some toy drives and so forth. So my question to the First Lady also is the same thing. Is there a friendship, a relationship with the owners of the hotel? That's all I'm asking. And now it's not a crime to ask those questions. It's not a crime to visit hotels. It's not a crime to be friends with business people, legitimate business people. Now, I don't know if that business owner is legitimate or not. I don't know. But they say that he's a business guy. That's what they say. And the First Lady or the First Lady should answer those questions. The next person who should be answering that question is Priya Manik-Chan, who rushed to the scene. You notice all of these ministers, quote unquote ministers, rushed to the scene. And I'm asking all of them the same question. Priya Manik-Chan, whether she has a friendship with the owners of the hotel. That's all I'm asking her. And whether she was in direct contact with them before she headed over to the crime scene, so to speak. The other question that I'm asking Priya Manik-Chan is whether it is true that she gave this guy, the father of Adriana Young, a brand new telephone on the same day. And if so, why? That's all I'm asking. She's a public official with taxpayers' dollars. She has to report to the public. And if she, in fact, gave this young man, the father of Adriana Young, a brand new telephone, the question is why? That's all I want to know. Why? If it is true, why? And the other thing, whether she received a phone call from the owner or owners of the hotel, and whether they have a friendship there, whether there is a friendship there. Again, I'm asking, it's just a question. Now, same for Vindi Prasad. Whether there's a friendship with the hotel owners and whether she was in touch with them during the course of the time that the little girl was missing. They're just questions, mind you. The other person, oops, scary as it looks, the other person is this guy, whether he received a phone call from the owner of the hotel to head down there and do a video of the poolside. Now, this is what this guy did.
That is saying 7 feet 6 inches, 5 feet 5 inches. If you look at it, right? They're saying 5'5". They're saying 7'6". They're saying 8 feet. So for 8 feet is reasonable depth for a pool. So you would have to go in and check in the pool, right? The young lady is not in the pool. So it could be ruled out that she drowned.
So he was there probably after being invited, probably. He has to say whether he was invited by the owner or owners of the hotel. He has to say that. He has to answer to that question. It's a fair question. It's It's no pointing fingers of anything. But in order for him or anybody to go and video the pool, just like that, in the midst of an investigation, it means that permission was granted. Who granted him permission for that? And what was the objective? Was the objective to merely say that, okay, the girl wasn't there, she's not in the pool? You heard him. She's not in the pool. So therefore, if she's not in the pool, maybe she's not at a hotel and she's gone and you guys get out of the hotel. Was that the objective? It appears so. Only this guy can answer those questions. Whether, and he should show his phone log, whether the owner of the restaurant or this hotel called him, or he called the owner of the hotel, and when he went there, did he have any conversation with the owner of the hotel? That's all. Because this happened after his video. Nothing or no one was in the pool, but this happened. They at the hotel would like people to believe that the girl was actually in the pool. How ridiculous they can be. This is what happened after.
That's what the police do. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. Are you guilty, man? Are you doing this, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you fucking doing it, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it?
People are convinced that the little girl, Adriana Young, died at that hotel. Died, and a vicious death. She was murdered. How? What happened? Those are things, those are questions that are left unanswered. People want answers. You cannot find an 11-year-old girl murdered, went out to have fun with her family, disappeared in that same hotel, was murdered, and nobody saw, nobody heard anything, and then you try to put her back in that pool to say that she drowned? Something. Whoever did what they did to her, after whatever, they murdered her. And so they deliberately placed her head maybe in a toilet bowl or maybe in a tub, a flat tub, where her hands and knees and everything flat on her face, and they put her head down, squeeze her head down in the water. And while one is squeezing her head down in the water, and because of course she had to have been fighting up, and then another one hold her, both of her legs like this, and another one her hands. So that explains, or the person who did that could have put his knees on her, both of her legs, squeeze her down like that, and squeeze her hand, put her hand underneath her chest, and take her head and forced it down into the tub. That was a cruel death. Whoever did that, whoever the person or persons are cold-blooded murderers, and they need to be brought to justice. This is what we all can conclude, that someone or more than someone at that hotel knew how that girl was murdered, and they ought to answer. Nothing they do, whether they burn stuff up, burn the building down, nothing is going to run away. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Now, after the body is decomposed, we're hearing that it was deliberately left to be decomposed like that, and they rushed to bring 3 independent pathologists, giving the impression that they're all about justice. Could it be that more things happened to that little girl? And because they saw what was happening in the country, they didn't want to come outright with the full report. And so instead of giving the full report, they suppressed it. They edited. They said, no, they cannot tell the nation what really happened to that little girl, Adriana Young. No, they cannot. Because this is just my opinion. What do you think would have happened to Guyana? What do you think would have happened around the hospital? What do you think would have happened in villages? It doesn't matter whether it's predominantly one group or the other group. It doesn't matter. What do you think would have happened if they came out and they read the full report, and in that full report was some gruesome acts. But instead, read between the lines. All that was said, and it was said to the father first, who went to the media. The father went to the media and he said, them semidata, that his daughter died by drowning. Therefore, that was the cause of death. Story done. What if there were more and gruesome acts? You know what would have happened on that road? You know what would have happened in other places? And so I'm just asking myself this particular question. Is there more behind that story and the autopsy than we're not being told, and that is being hidden from the public, and that is being hidden from the mother and father and relatives of that little girl? Now, the other thing, we're hearing reports that there's a new pathologist, an independent pathologist. This time, the independent pathologist that is being brought to Guyana, in my opinion, it should have been that from day one. Family members should have insisted that whoever the pathologist, the independent pathologist that is going to go and conduct or witness the autopsy of this little girl should not have any association with the government of Guyana. None whatsoever. And so this independent pathologist that is going in there now, that should have been the case from day one, I do believe is a step in the right direction. We're already hearing things that they have submitted an application because, as I've said earlier during the course of the day, that independent pathologists cannot hop into a country without permission. So that independent pathologist that's going to Guyana or set to go to Guyana has to receive what is called work authorization, work permit, because that person is going to Guyana to work for that day. And they have to have permission. If that person is not granted permission, upon arrival at the airport, the government can send that person back out of the country or deny the person the right to work in Guyana, which means that that person cannot conduct an independent autopsy. Based on what we know about the government, the corrupt government of Guyana, I can bet my last 5,000, it's still here, Guyana dollars, that the installed PPP regime of Guyana will give the family and the lawyers the royal runaround, because I do not think, if I'm wrong, then it is. But I am convinced that the corrupt government of Guyana will not grant permission to that independent pathologist, the real independent pathologist. I don't think they're going to grant. They're going to delay it for another day. It's probably going to drag on until Monday when the family is expected to bury that little girl. And then they may have to postpone that funeral to maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. And you're just going to hit. And in the meantime, you know what's happening with the body there, right? You know what's happening with the body. I don't know. I'm not an advisor of the family, but from day one, that family should have had an independent pathologist. What we witnessed there, they were not independent pathologists. They were pathologists that were brought in by the government of Guyana and possibly paid by the government of Guyana. And so you got the results that you paid for. I'm not questioning them. All I'm saying is something isn't right. And I'm entitled to that view, right? Something isn't right, guys. I'll be back. Maybe tomorrow. But Wayne Caesar has his show tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I believe he does have a guest. We'll see when he's on. But if there's any other story during the course of the day tomorrow, we will report to you. Let me see. Rocky Singh saying the evidence thus far is overwhelming, already showing the crime committed. The government must really think people are dumb. That's what they think, Ricky. That is what they really think, that people are dumb. People are not dumb. I'm out of here, guys. See you all. Pray for Guyana. Lots and lots of corruption. And again, sorry about the mix-up with Indar, right? So we got the right Indar now. Watch their bumps race, because lots of other things. Forget about Indar. Connection. This owner of the hotel, Irfan Ali, has to answer some questions. Priya Manikchan may not want to, but lots of questions need to be answered. I'm out of here, guys. God bless you all.
We checked this pool this morning. We checked this pool this morning. This young lady was not in this pool. This girl was not in this pool. This girl was not in this pool. She was not in here. We checked in this pool. The girl was not in there this morning when we come here. We went in this place. This girl was not in here. The girl was not in there, boy. What the fuck? They put this girl in this pool, boy. The fucking girl they went in there. We went in there just now, boy. What the fuck, boy? That's why they didn't want nobody come in the place. They didn't want nobody come in the place. What? That girl was not in the pool. We was here since 7:40 this morning. That girl was not in the pool at 7:40. She was not in the pool at 7:40. What the girl knee has scrape up. Watch how this girl is. The girl knee scrape up. Clearly shows.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that affects
Mr.
all the
Ali,
citizens.
I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling you.
Mr. Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes we gotta put our position aside.
No, this is not position.
No, we gotta put our position aside and place ourselves into people's shoes. You gotta understand, even those persons who were traveling, yes, they were inconvenienced, but they understood the reason. They understood the reason. We understand the inconvenience.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but blocking the road for hours is something that affects
Mr.
all the
Ali,
citizens.
I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling you.
Mr. Ali.
Persons can do so peacefully, and they can, but
blocking the road for hours is something that affects
Mr.
all the
Ali,
citizens.
I saw you blocking road. Yes, Mr. Ali.
I'm just telling you.
Mr. Ali, there are videos with you protesting, you being a scrape and a tug. Mr. Ali, this is not, listen, sometimes.
That's what the police do. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. Are you guilty, man? Are you doing this, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you fucking doing it, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? That's what the police do. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. The police guilty. Are you guilty, man? Are you doing this, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you fucking doing it, man? Are you doing this? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it?